Hey, seventh graders, welcome to week 4, lesson 2. We are on topic 6, lesson 1. We're finishing up the lesson with on page 297 to 298. Let's start with the quiz like we usually do. What is a problem with using natural gas? A, it is a non-renewable resource. B, fracking can pollute water sources. C, it can contribute to global warming. Or D, all of the above. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm not going to eliminate any answer because they're all right. Therefore, the only answer that's correct is all of the above. So A, B, and C are all problems that we have using natural gas with our environment. All right, let's talk about the goal of the lesson. It is to talk about nuclear energy and using resources. All right, nuclear energy. That sounds interesting and a little bit scary. Let's see how that works. Oh, well, we got to review first. All right. We learned in the beginning of the year that the smallest unit or part of living things or biotic things are cells. However, you might have learned in other science classes that the smallest unit of matter, and matter is like anything that takes up space. So it can be living and non-living. I have matter, you have matter, the computer I'm using has matter, the desk my computer is on has matter, the pencil that you're using has matter. So if I could cut up matter to the smallest possible piece, I would find an atom. And here's what an atom looks like. All right, I've got on the outside, I have electrons, and in the center, I have something called a nucleus. It sounds a lot like the center of a cell. It's also called the nucleus, where we hold our DNA. And the nucleus is going to be really important for learning about nuclear energy, and we'll tell you why in a second. All right, so how do I get nuclear energy from that itty bitty atom that I just showed you in the last slide? Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to split that nucleus of an atom into two. Now, this is called nuclear fission. And when I split that atom, kaboom, I get a ton of energy. And I'm going to use that energy to heat the water. And when I heat the water, I'm going to make steam or water vapor or water gas. And I'm going to use the steam to make electricity. So that is how I take an itty bitty atom and I get a ton of energy and I transform or change that energy into electricity that I can use to power my cell phone, to watch TV, and to go on the internet. So a very common element that we use for nuclear energy is called uranium. That's what it looks like. And back in the days, like 1800s, they actually used to use uranium to make yellow colored glasses and dishes, and it would glow in the dark, which is pretty, but also radioactive. Okay, so that kind of concludes all of our fossil fuels. So I talked about coal, oil, petroleum, what was it? Natural gas, and nuclear energy. So now I want to talk about how we use these resources. So a current problem that we as society is facing is overpopulation. What does that mean? It means too many humans on Earth. Now, because we have all of these people, and all these people want iPhones, and they want food to eat, and they want cars to go to work in, these are like basic human rights. But since we have so many, we are just blowing through these resources and using them very, 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 very quickly. And scientists already think that half the petroleum is already gone. And remember, petroleum is another word for oil, and we use that basically every day. And we use it a lot in the bathroom with our cosmetics and our shampoos. And again, the problem is, okay, so what? So we're using this really fast. We're just super speedy. What's the problem? Well, remember, these energy resources that we're learning about currently, they are non-renewable. So once they're gone, they are gone forever. Here's another problem with using energy resources is that they aren't fair. Okay. And here's what I mean that they aren't fair. They are not distributed or located in a planned way. So their distribution is random and not planned. Okay. Like my parents, they have 4 kids and they're really fair with us. If I get $5, my sister gets $5, my brother gets $5, and my other sister gets $5. Nobody's getting $20, nobody's getting $1. But they can plan this, okay? And it's not random, but you can't plan this with fossil fuels because you either have them or you don't. So some countries get access to more fossil fuels than others just because they're there in one country, and in the country next door they might not be there. For an example of this, think of the Middle East and oil. Okay, so Middle East has a ton of oil, less than we have in the United States. Again, not because someone was like, oh, I like you better, I like you less, just because it's where they were located. It's where those animals died and were under intense heat and pressure. So because of this, countries will fight for fossil fuels, and they'll even have wars. And when you have wars, when you have fighting, you're causing damage to humans and you're causing damage to ecosystem. So these are some pictures of the Gulf War, which was mainly fought over oil reserves. And what they started to do is, so instead of people taking their oil, they burnt their oil. And as we know, burning oil releases a lot of carbon dioxide in our ecosystem. So that was not very good for the people who fought in the war, for the citizens of those countries, and also for our ecosystem. All right, let's end with a quiz. The splitting of an atom's nucleus in two to release energy is called A, nuclear division, B, nuclear fission, C, nuclear power plant, and D, nuclear meltdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well, we didn't really talk about power plants. We talked about how we can use nuclear energy, but not where it's made. And a nuclear meltdown is when a power plant has an accident. So I hope we don't talk about that. Correct answer is nuclear fission. Nuclear division sounds better, but the correct answer is fission. Fission is another science word for split in two. Okay, guys, that's it for today. Have a good rest of the day. Stay safe and healthy, and I will talk to you soon.